For every 4 to 5 feet of limestone that they blasted through, it took over 80 sticks of dynamite. So it took a bunch of dynamite to blast through all this. And so we call this the discovery room for 2 different reasons. The first reason is that when the Thompson brothers were blasting through that tunnel, their intention was to go straight into the basement room, but they stuck their head through a hole right where we walked in at and discovered this room. The second reason is that in this room, you'll be able to see every formation on the entire tour. Well, you'll be able to see every formation in this one room that you'll see in the entire tour. So I'm going to start with these. These are called tubular stalactites. We also call them soda straws because in theory you can plug them off the wall and drink soda out of them. It probably tastes pretty good though. Oh, Dave's coming through.
Thanks, you guys. Just passing through.
These are formed of water drips off the ceiling, and there's a calcite crystal ring. And as it keeps dripping, it's longer and longer, just like a straw. So sometimes this water does get clogged up like a piece of sand or a small rock, and then it ends up looking something like this guy right over here. Kind of looks like a chili pepper. And so now as the water drips on the outside of this, it forms what they call a stalactite, like this one above my head. This one is estimated to be about 10 to 15,000 years old. These go very slow at 1 cubic inch per 100 years. And so now as the water drips off this stalactite and lands onto the ground, it forms what we call a stalagmite, like this one behind you guys. These also grow at 1 cubic inch per 100 years. An easy way to remember the difference between these two is stalagmite, spelled with G for ground, might one day reach the ceiling. And stalactite, spelled with C for ceiling, holds on tight to the ceiling. Now as these two keep growing longer, and once they meet up with each other, we call this a cave column, like this one over you guys have left. And right underneath this we call this flowstone. This is our most aggressive formation in the caverns. This is what does that filling in stage I was talking about. So eventually at some point in time, all these rooms will be filled up with all this flowstone. And right above the flowstone we have cave bacon, because everything's better than bacon. This is formed of water, it just runs down a vertical wall, leaving all that calcite crystal built up there. And right over here we have cave drapery. All those sparkles that you see in it, that's just all that calcite crystal. The drier it gets, the more it sparkles. Oh, Brittany's coming back through.
Sorry guys.
Are there any questions so far?
Thank you.
What's the oldest formation? How old?
The oldest formation, I'll show you guys that one in the next room we're going to go into. Good question. Are there any others? Alright, so straight ahead of me and behind you guys right over here, we have what we call stalactites. We also call it spaghetti patch. This is the rarest formation found in here. They're said to only be found in limestone caverns. Oh. These are formed of water and oxygen pressures push up tremendously out of this rock, causing them to press defy gravity. You can see how they're going every which way. So it's kind of hard to tell what these are going to look like in a couple thousand years. And right over here, if you look off to my left, you'll see this ring. I can trace around the whole entire room. We call this shelf stone. I'll show you guys over here. This is formed of water, sits in this room for a long period of time and builds up that calcite crystal along the wall. If you guys look right underneath it right here, we call this peanut brittle, also known as false flooring. This is kind of like ice forming over a pond. It's a very thin layer of that calcite crystal. It's very, very brittle. And as you can see, it only drops a couple inches in this room, but in other caverns, this could drop 60, 70, 80, hundreds of feet down. So you guys ever go cave exploring? Go with a lot of people. You definitely don't go first. So any questions? Nothing? Alright, so I'm going to make my way in front here. We're going to head in. It stands 80 feet tall.
Wow.
The tallest room, cathedral room, is 150 feet up to the ceiling. And that'll be the last room we go into today. We also call this a breakdown dome room because at one point this room was filled all the way up with water. And so as that water sat, it created that false flooring that I was talking about. So as the water level kept going down, it created more layers. So as the water level went completely down, those floors became too heavy to support their own weight. So they all came crashing down here to the bottom. And all this flowstone just shows us this happened over thousands, if not millions of years ago. If you guys look off to your right here, this is the only man-made tunnel we would not be going through today. It's boring, it doesn't go anywhere. It goes about 60 feet back and 5 feet to the right in dead ends. They blasted this and hoped to find another room, but obviously they didn't. And unfortunately, due to the blasting, they did ruin these formations right here. But they'll grow back as time goes. And luckily they stopped blasting when they did, because they saved the oldest cave column in the caverns right over here. Estimated to be about 60,000 years old. And due to the blasting, we get to see what this calcite crystal looks like in the middle of it, like above you guys' heads. You guys curious how many animals live in here? Yeah. We do get the occasional black bear mountain lion in here. No, I'm kidding. If you know the California brown bat, they're most likely in the last one we're going to go into today. Its wingspan's about 4 inches, very, very small. We do also have cave salamanders. There's said to only be about a handful left in the caverns, so we'll be lucky if we see one today. We also have cave crickets and cave spiders. The cave spiders are mostly found towards the entrance to the caverns, so I wait till now to tell you guys. So, any questions so far?
How much earth is above us?
It's kind of hard to tell because it's a slope, but I would say about 50 to 80 feet.
How long does it take the water to get from there to here?
Well, this water right now is rainwater from a couple weeks ago, probably about 3 weeks ago. So it's slow.
Yeah.
But in the summertime, it'll be completely dry in here. Any other questions? Good question so far.
Does the light actually prevent them growing? Actually?
No, the only thing that the lights do is it creates algae. Because in the caverns, 98% humidity in about mid-60s, so it's perfect environment for the algae. But no, it doesn't hurt the formations at all. It just causes algae to grow. Any other questions? Nope. Alright, so we have a really called fantasy formations, where tour guides start getting bored, start seeing things in the rocks. Our tourists start finding a lot too. But we have our very own cave wall right over here. Sorry, my light's going down a little bit, it's kind of hard to see. We have his head right there. We have his neck going down. You guys see my light?
What is it?
And then his body right here, back legs. It's a cave llama. Then right next to his head, you have Bigfoot's foot. He has 6 toes. Now I think he's pretty good at yoga because he's got his foot behind his ear. We also have Indiana Jones in here. But it's kind of hard to see. You have to have imagination to see it. His hand's going up over the rock and his legs are dangling down right over here. Again, you have the imagination to see it. And you guys see it? Make me feel like a fool. On his way to get the calcite crystal carrot. You can see how it has this white color. It's set as its own pure water source, drifting away from what we call iron oxide. It's what gives the shoreline of Shasta Lake that reddish color, that rusty color. We have a lot of iron in the soil. So that's what gives everything this brown, red, this brownish red color. And again, that's all the iron oxide that gets in the water. So any questions?
Is it safe to be here in an earthquake?
Yes. I knew someone was going to ask that. We actually had an earthquake about 7 years ago in Alturas, about 5.7 magnitude. And at the time of the earthquake, there were 90 people in the caverns on this tour. And when they came out, people were asking if they were okay, and it turned out they didn't feel anything. They had no idea anything happened. Across the lake on the other side, there was stuff flying off the shelves, stuff moving around. But yeah, those people didn't feel anything. So all those cracks and crevices that you see in the limestone kind of absorb that shock and move with it. And all this calcite crystal that you see all around us kind of acts like a super glue and holds everything together. So it's pretty rare for something to fall in here. Good question. Alright, so we're going to head in. Is there anybody behind you guys? Alright, sorry guys. I usually try to warn you guys about that staircase, but with that other tour back there, we didn't have any time. So, you guys all made it. We're all good. I'll play that about 6 times today. So you guys might have noticed that that staircase kept going straight up before we took a left. Back in the day, we had what we called wild tours, where people would pay extra money to come here, no restrictions, no tour guide. They get to crawl in tunnels, touch everything, do whatever they wanted pretty much. And so one little boy about 10 years old, and the next we're going to go into found a tunnel and followed it all the way through and poked his head out right here, discovering this room. And when he poked his head through, there's water in this room to about this point. And so they just blasted right where he walked through it and let all the water run through the front door. The first tour came through here in about 1984. So it's the newest room so far. So it calls the crystal room because it's crystal chandelier right above my head. All those white things that you see, those are stalactites, that rare formation I was talking about. We also have a couple on the wall over here, like this one going straight out. We also have our upside down shoe roof. And DT stinker. So if you guys look over here on the wall, we call this cave coral, also called cave popcorn. This is foreign water sits in this room. As water drips off the ceiling and hits the water, it splatters onto the wall and forms that cave coral. And so we can trace this all the way up to the ceiling, which tells us this room is pretty much all the way filled up with water. We also have a cool example of that cave coral splattering onto that stalactite right there. Any questions, comments? Yeah, all the tour guides maintain it, trying to clean it up a little bit. Yeah, someone dropped their helmet yesterday, a little kid on my tour, so gotta go down and pick it up.
Ghosts?
No, we haven't seen any ghosts, nothing. Actually, yeah, we have. No snakes in here.
How long did it take to put all lights and buildings and open for public?
All this concrete, it took about 5 years to do. The guys that did it could actually carry it in by buckets, and each step took about 4 to 5 buckets each. So, you gotta imagine this guys are pretty built after this. But yeah, it took about 5 years just for the concrete. And the lights, we just did that as we went along. And these railings, they're about 11 years new. The other ones are all completely steel, so they rusted very easily. So can anyone guess what 2 days we were closed on? We're open all year long except for 2 days. No, Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, yeah. So Christmas, Thanksgiving are the days we're closed on. So for Thanksgiving, our Thanksgiving turkey right over here. We have the drywall, his meat going down, and his body and his feathers over here. And then for Christmas, we have Santa Claus. Little kids also trying to look like Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Or Chewbacca, whatever you prefer. And then right over here, we got Santa's little helpers. We have the Christmas trees and the elves. And can anyone in here find a saber-toothed tiger? Yeah. You guys don't have imagination on this tour. Nobody? Usually people find like that. Oh God. No, it's actually right over here above you guys. You have his head right there, his mouth wide open. You have his paw going on stretch. You have his other paw tucked in. His body. Jumping all the way across Crescent Moon to its favorite food, our best example of cave bacon. You can see how it's different colors. That's just different amounts of iron oxide that it gets, different amount of water. Alright guys, when I head upstairs, because when Charles Morton and James Risting came down into the caverns, they thought this was the lowest room at the time. We also call it the dead room. If you look around, there's not really much growing, not much going on. There's said to be a huge layer of clay over top of this room, redirecting water to other areas like the crystal room. That's why so many formations are growing in there. This gets so much water. We also call it the suicide room because in 1999 we developed a program called Underground Classroom. We took schools on field trips in here, gave them the same tour, but gave them an extra half hour in this room to crawl all over anything, touch anything. So if you guys are curious on how the rocks felt, you guys can't touch anything in this room. Just don't fall in. Oh, Oliver, anything get hurt. Oh, nobody's moving. You guys acting like you don't want to. Come on. Alright, so any of you guys familiar with the Oddfellows? Know who they were, what they did? Nobody? Alright, so they're a group of people that did really nice things. They're nice people. Like if your car broke down for work, they give you a ride to work. Come back home, help you fix your car. If your house burnt down, they'd help you build a brand new house for no cost. They're just nice people. So, if you wanted to be in their group, you didn't come to them, they came to you. So they recruited 30 guys and blindfolded them. They brought them down to this exact room and gave them a boxing match in 24 hours to get out of the caverns. Only 3 people made it out and they're completely naked. You guys have any ideas why?
They burn their clothes for heat?
Yeah, so, well, not for heat, but for light. So they'd rip off a little piece of their clothing and try and light it on fire for light. But with 98% humidity in the caverns, it wouldn't stay ignited very long. So this caverns has its own natural airway going through it. And so as that smoke would smolder out, they'd follow the smoke out to a natural entrance. The other 27 guys weren't found, unfortunately. No, I'm kidding. They came back and rescued them. Alright, so we're not going to spend too much time in this room. There's not much going on. It's kind of boring. But once we hit the concrete, please don't touch anything else. This is the only room we get to do this in. And around the corner here, watch your step. We have very small steps, but I call them Tinkerbell steps. So again, just be safe, watch your step. Feet tall and 125 feet wide. This was the first room that Charles Morton and James Richardson actually discovered. So if you guys look right behind you guys over here in this tunnel, I don't know if you guys can see it sitting down. You'll see that light back there. That's not natural light, that's the light you put back there. But if you were to follow that tunnel out another 80 to 100 feet, you come out the natural entrance of the caverns outside. And so that's how the bats get in and out of here. And so we don't think they rappel down this slope. It's pretty steep, kind of dangerous. There's actually a tunnel that starts out right here and comes out behind this wall. And if you guys see this ladder over here, that's how they got to the basement room. They didn't have the nice walkway we have today. So when they came down in here, they only had small lanterns that only allowed them to see about 10 to 15 feet in front and around them. So unfortunately, they couldn't see what we can see with all these lights today. And the bats might start flying around now. You can hear them going crazy. Not bad. Oh, I see. And so we call it the cage room because it's obviously the biggest room, and because of all this cage bacon on the wall. So each one of these, if you were to hit them, has its own deep, hollow sound, kind of like a pipe organ. So you can see on the bottom how they're all chipped. When people are on those wild tours, they come up and hit them and see what sound they made. So that's one reason why we had to stop the tours. So we had a question about the earthquakes. I like to use this guy as an example. I call him Torpedo. It's probably anywhere from 600 to 700 pounds. It's probably still 1,000,000 years old. And you gotta think of how many earthquakes it's been through and it hasn't fell down, as well as everything else around it, how old it is. Just gives a good example of how strong everything is in here. The only thing known to fall, however, is this big guy right here. They call it the fallen giant. Scientists came in and took measurements and actually estimated to fit right here in this big gap. And so the reason it fell was all that carbonic acid just seeped through and started eating away behind the rock, and it just fell from small earth movements. So any questions?
That note
Oh,
on the
you
wall,
guys see the bats go about you guys?
J.R. Richardson notes. So that's the original note that you left. We passed a note on the wall.
Oh yeah, that was James Richardson's signature. And underneath it was a CM for Charles Morton. Yeah. And these signatures over here, it's nobody important. It's the people that came in after they heard about the caverns. We do think they tried to take claim of finding the caverns, because right above their signatures is James Richardson and Charles Morton's. You guys can barely see it. It's actually rubbed out. So we think they tried to rub it out and take claim for it. Put their names right there. But we can't do it. So do you guys want any pictures? I'll feel free to take any pictures for you.